Hello everybody and welcome to this Google Hangout. Normally we have our Hangouts on a Thursday, but today I've got a very special pair of guests with me, and so that's why we've had the Hangout on a different day. So in the Hangout I have got the beautiful Denise King, jazz singer extraordinaire.
Hello.
And hello there, Denise, and the even more beautiful Althea Brown, who's her promoter. And in actual fact, Denise was born in Philadelphia, or West Philly, as she likes to call it. And she's
West Philly.
West Philly, and you've been singing for years, and you live in Paris, half in Paris and half in Philadelphia.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And right now, you're here to tell us about a new show, or to promote a show that's happening in Ipswich on Wednesday night. So, Althea, could you press the button and let's get Denise on the screen? There we are. All sorted? Okay. Great. Denise, then, how long have you been singing?
Well, now I've been singing without giving any hint about my age. I've been singing for over 30 years.
Wow.
Over 30 years, yeah. So I started when I was 5. No.
Wow. So were you brought up in a musical family?
Actually, no. I mean, well, kind of. My brothers are musicians. My brothers are drummers. I have an older brother who plays regular drums and percussion instruments, like congas and bongos and that kind of business. And then my younger brother was a drummer, and he was in a band. He was in a soul band in Germany.
Okay.
For a while, while he was in the military. But like my mom and my dad, they weren't musical people, but yeah. So I just kind of I picked it up from my brothers.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And so, what was the very first performance you ever gave?
Oh God! Oh my God! I remember my first performance was at a park in Philadelphia. It was like a community type event, and how I started singing. Someone discovered me singing in front of my house one day. This person auditioned me and said, you should sing. You have a great voice. He auditioned me, and that led to my first gig, which was at this park. And I didn't have any experience whatsoever singing. I mean, I sang around the house when I was cleaning or in the shower, of course, like that. But, he gave me the job, and it was at this park. And I was so green. I was green as grass and so nervous because I had never performed publicly before. Yeah, so that was my first gig in Philadelphia at 24th and Pine.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
And so how have you overcome nerves then? Because obviously with 30 years experience, you've kind of settled into the role. What's your secret?
To just be you. The secret is to just be you and be the best you that you can possibly be. To practice your instrument, to practice your craft, to listen to as many singers from as many genres as possible, and it prepares you. I don't have any formal musical training. I never studied at a musical conservatory or university or anything like that. It's something that was just natural, and over the years I developed it by listening to my favorite, Sarah Vaughan. I'm actually doing a tribute to Sarah Vaughan's show in the future, but my favorites were Sarah Vaughan, Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, and listening to them, they prepared me for what I do now. And soul music, of course, Aretha Franklin, well, doesn't get too much better than that in the soul department. So, yeah, so they prepared me for what I'm doing now. And I was horribly, oh my God, I was so shy and suffered with stage fright. I mean, every time before I would go on stage, I would have a cigarette in both hands, one in the ashtray, and probably some kind of libation. And I was just nervous. And I remember I did a performance with Sam Reed, who is a Philadelphian and who was the band leader and director at one of the most famous theaters in Philadelphia, the Uptown Theater, which was on Broad Street, still is on Broad Street, and it's being revitalized. But he was the band leader for many years, and all kinds of people came through there. You know, Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, the Marvelettes, this one, that one, jazz people, everybody. And I had an opportunity to meet him at some point in my career, early in my career, and he said, "Oh, you know, you can really sing. I'm going to hire you." And he did, and we had to do this show. And so I was singing. I was just basically standing there like a mannequin. And he
thrown in the deep end then.
Yeah, he just threw me in the pool. Psh, get in and swim. And so I stood up there, and he said, well, you know, he came up to me in my ear, and he said, well, Denise, you know, you can't just stand here. You got to say something to the people. And I said, well, I don't know these people. They don't know me. What can I say to them? I'm a stranger. And he went behind me, and he goosed me with his horn and made this real loud, ugly noise. And I jumped. And that helped me get over my stage fright.
Right.
I just said, well, you know, people, I have to talk to you, or the horn player is going to.
So you always had that fear of that horn behind you if you didn't say something.
Not the horn, something or somebody behind me saying, get up there and talk to the people. So, but stage fright is real. And, you know, I think that if you just can embrace the idea that some people are going to love you, some people are not going to love you, you know, some people will be indifferent, some people may even walk out. But if you embrace the idea of just doing your absolute best, just sing from your heart with as much feeling and meaning as you can, you'll build a fan base and an audience. People will love you.
I know that I read in your biography that you really love listening to the lyrics, and that's really important.
Oh, it's very important, because I think that's what a lot of younger singers are missing, that it's not just a song. Someone sat down and wrote the words to that song, basically telling the story. If you know the story, you can sing the story. If you know the story, you can sing it. If you sit down and not that it's so profound or anything, but when I sat down one day and I wrote the lyrics to Fly Me to the Moon. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. So this guy is saying, like, if you just hold my hand, all this stuff is going to happen. I'm going to fly to the moon. I'm going to see the stars and blah, 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 blah. Or another song like You're Mine, You. You're mine, you. You belong to me, you. I will never free you. In every way, you're mine. That's a stalker song. That's a stalker song. You know, it's like, you know, arm in arm, lips to lips, we will be found together. You know, arm in arm, hand, we're chained and bound together. I own you. That's a stalker song. Listen to the lyrics so you can tell the story. You know, and I think that some singers, they just kind of mime, you know, they just sing the words by rote. They just sing the words. They don't get into
they don't tell the story.
Yeah, they don't get into the meat of the story, and they lose something because it's just kind of like singing words, and they're not just words. They have life.
Right.
They have meaning.
Well, you've certainly explained that. That's I just can't wait. I'm going to ask you if you'd be prepared to sing a few bars of a song at some point.
Sure.
I'll let you think about what one you're going to sing, but I'm just going to ask you one other question about how you warm up, how you prepare to go on stage. What do you do?
I don't really do a lot of preparation. I don't do a lot of warm up. I mean, I think my warm up is just that I spend most of the day singing. I sing all the time. Not even when I'm not consciously aware that I'm singing. People tell me, "Oh, you're always singing. You're singing again."
That is true.
You're singing. I'm always singing something. So there's no huge, there's no ritual. There's no, I've got to gargle 5 times a day with salt water, and I've got to spray the solution in my nose. I think that in that sense, I'm blessed. I'm really grateful you know, to God and the universe that I don't have to do a whole lot. As I've gotten older, you know, I may have to sing a little more, but I don't really go through a whole ritual. I just get up there and do it. That's it. Yeah.
Has your voice changed at all over recent years?
Yeah. It's gotten deeper. You know, sometimes I can get those, I can hit those very white notes. I get really low. I can reach high highs, but I can hit lower lows as I've gotten older. And I think that's just because, you know, when you get older, things change, and your voice is part of that.
Yes.
And I actually like it. Yeah, because it's gotten warmer. It's just, you know, it's just kind of rounder and fuller. It's just kind of like a nice a wine or a cognac that's aged. That's how I think of it. Yeah.
That's so cool. So then, Denise, are you ready to sing us something? It was so funny when I suggested you might sing. I said, would you mind? And you just burst out laughing, saying, mind? I'd love to.
Of course. I told you I'm a ham. I'll sing. I don't care. I love it. It's what I do. So since we mentioned those two songs, since I talked about those two songs, maybe I'll do a little bit from each one. Fly Me to the Moon, and maybe I'll soul something.
Do a little soul something, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. 'Cause you are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. You're mine, you belong to me, I will never free you. I'm here with you to stay. You're mine, you love me strong or sweetly. You are mine completely. In every way you're mine. Arm in arm, hand in hand, we will be found together. Heart to heart, lips to lips, we're chained and bound together. I own you. Love me strong or sweetly, you are mine completely. In every way, you're mine. What you want, baby, I got. What you need, you know I got. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, take care, T-C-B, ooh! A little respect. Huh.
And we were both really quite unhappy.
We were miserably unhappy.
To say the least. And I will never forget, I was working as a backing singer, and I'll never forget the way I felt the first time I ever heard her sing. If I think about it, it's like I just knew that this woman had to come to the UK. Because like she's known in America, she's known in Europe, but you know, she needs a little bit more of a fan to build a fan base here in the UK. So finally, after all these years, I got her here. And I have I put on a jazz evenings called the Velvet Jazz Lounge, where I feature a local artist and an international artist, and we have one on Wednesday in Ipswich at the Rep with Denise King. On bass we have Dave Chamberlain, on drums we have Matt Home, and on keyboard Robin Asplund. And to open the show we have a local singer called Gina Brown, who used to work with Roger Chapman and Jean Kahn, and she will be opening the show for Denise. Velvet Jazz Lounge is also a radio show that goes out every Sunday on Ipswich Community Radio, ICR 105.7 FM, from 12 till 2 p.m. Yeah, but that's how we met. I love this woman. She's funny. She's a fabulous singer, and she's a great friend.
Yeah.
And guess what? This is live technology, everybody.
Oh, wow.
My iPad has just suddenly stopped working. So,
Oh, no.
But we're not going to worry. The show will carry on. And I've got loads more questions I'd like to ask you.
Yeah, let me make some space for you.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to ask was, in actual fact, tell me about what you do when you're in Philadelphia, because I know you do some charity work there, don't you?
Yeah, I do. When I was in Philly, actually just before I came to Europe in 2008, I was involved in production. I founded and produced a weekly jazz series that was specifically for my community. I grew up in West Philly, and I kind of took a walk around and noticed that the neighborhood that I live in is culturally diverse. It has, different types of restaurants and food and people. There's a mix of people from all over the world in this little neighborhood. And the one thing that was missing was jazz, and I didn't like it because, I just kind of felt like the musicians that I know in the community needed some place where they could go and build their fan base, where they could sell CDs and make some money, And so I created this event, and that ran 9 years. Actually, my run there ended in 2008 because I came to Paris. Okay. But as a part of that that jazz series, I created a literacy program for kids. Like when the festival was going on, the music would be playing and the parents would be kicked back with their drinks and cocktails and their snacks, and the kids would be running amok.
Okay.
They'd be running amok. And so finally I said, I got to get something. These kids have to settle down so their parents can enjoy this moment, so that they can have 2 hours. It ran every Friday from 6 to 8. The parents can have these 2 hours to just relax and enjoy the music. So I called all the kids together. It was a whole slew of them, about 20 kids, little rugrats from 2 up to maybe 10 or whatever. And so I took a poll. I said, okay, kids, what do you like to do? Play! Yeah. I said, okay, so after playing, what is your favorite thing to do? And almost every single one of them said, read. Right. They love to read. I was stunned. So I said, okay, these kids love to read. What can I do? I decided that I would give away free books. So initially, I bought the books. I bought them. I paid for them out of my pocketbook. But then I appealed to the audience members to donate and collect children's books and bring them. And we had a big bin, like a big something that you might put soft drinks or beer or whatever, or sodas or to keep them going. A big barrel, exactly. It was a big barrel, and I had the books, and the kids would come every week like soldiers. They would march on that barrel, and they would. The rules were you can take the books and keep them. You can take the books and bring them back and trade them in. Or you can get books and give them to your friends. So that went on, and it's still, I just, actually, a couple of weeks ago, I talked to some people that I know and asked them to reinitiate or restart the program again, because they're still doing it, doing the jazz festival that I started in Philly. But my focus is kind of just literacy. And what was interesting to me, at some point, adults started to come to the bucket, the barrel, and they wouldn't say, I can't read. They would just come to me and they say, can I have some books? And I said, sure, you can have some books. And then they would whisper to me, I don't know how to read. I'm learning how to read. And I would just take as many books as you want, and they would take the books. And I could see some people were getting help from, other people reading the books. But that was one of the things that I did back in Philly. And another thing is that I worked with homeless people. I a couple of times a month I would feed the homeless, and every year at Christmas I would do a Toys for Tots kind of event where I would have music, live music. My band would play, or I'd invite other people to play, and I would collect children's toys. The last time that I did it was 2 Christmases ago. I couldn't do it last Christmas because I was here, or I just didn't have time enough to plan, but we ended up giving away toys and Xboxes and those kinds of video game things. We gave toys away to about 125 kids.
Must be really
Yeah.
satisfying. And things like books, they stay with the person for the rest of their lives, don't they?
Yeah, they
The books
do.
we've read as children.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's good. Very,
Yeah.
very happy to hear about that. Now, tell me about your band. Have you got a band at the moment?
I do. Well, actually, I have a new band that I just met here in Ipswich. Well, it was Beckingham we were
We went
at.
to Beckingham.
Beckingham, yeah.
Beckingham.
Okay, and it was Dave
Dave Chamberlain.
on bass, Robin Asplin on piano, and Bobby Worth on drums. Fabulous.
Fantastic. It was
Just-
a fantastic evening.
It was
And are they going to be playing at the Rep?
Dave
on
Chamberlain
Wednesday?
and Robin Asplund will be.
Okay.
We have a different drummer, Matt Home. He's well known in the jazz community, the international jazz community, and he'll be playing instead of Bobby Worth because Bobby's busy.
Okay.
somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Okay.
So I have them here, and then I have a band that I work with in France and one in Italy. Because sometimes it's just easier to have musicians in place where you go, so you don't, it's just easier sometimes. But
Logistically,
yeah, it's just easier to do that, so you don't have to pay travel for everybody. Sometimes I want, a specific band for a specific thing, but I enjoy the fact that I work with different musicians because it teaches you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another thing that singers need to be aware of. It's good to have your own band, and it's wonderful because they know you, they know where you're going, they know what you're going to do, but also try to work with other musicians, different musicians, so you learn. It makes you stretch. It takes you out of your safety net, your safety zone, because a new piano player obviously is not going to play like a piano player that you're familiar with. So you learn things in doing that. So, yeah, those are my bands, and I love them. I love every one of them.
Wow. Well, I guess you have to work very closely with them, so you've got to get to know people
Yeah,
at a very deep level.
Yeah, you do.
And trust them.
Yes, and that's important.
The great thing is, especially in the jazz scene, that the musicians are so professional, and they really love what they do, that they can come together without even knowing each other, without having worked together before, and make something wonderful happen. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen time and time again.
It happens all the time because if the thing is, if you know the music, jazz is kind of like either you know it or you don't. If you know the music, you know the key, you know the tempo, you just jump in and you play it. It doesn't have to be a lot of rehearsal or or preparation. There's so many times in my life that I've worked with people that the other day, never worked with those guys, didn't know them. Okay, this is what we're going to do. These are the keys, and it was just amazing. It was amazing. But that's the language of jazz. If you speak it and you know it, you don't. You can just jump into any situation and do it.
Excellent. Now, one of the things I'd like to talk about is the show on Wednesday. Althea, let's get you a little bit closer to the camera. Tell people what to expect on Wednesday.
Well, a qualitatively a very high quality show, something that we don't see in Ipswich. It's a world-class artist close up. It doesn't cost the earth to see her, but it's a proper evening out. If you love music, if you like quality music, you like to get a little bit dressed up, you want to come and have something to eat before the show, it's a good evening. There'll be nice people there. You can do a bit of networking if you like, because there are people from all different genres and walks.
Yeah.
And
it starts?
It starts at 7:30.
7:30.
It finishes at 10:30. So it's even though it's a school night, it finishes early enough for you to get a good night's sleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, but that's not likely in the jazz world, though, is it? I can
No.
Yeah, tickets cost £10. You can pay on the door, or you can go online and buy one at velvetperformance.wix.com/velvetip. You can buy tickets on the website, or you can pay on the door on the night.
I'll put a link to that later underneath. That's excellent. So people can get there early if they want to have something to eat.
They get there early if they want something to eat, or if they just want to have a couple of drinks, and, get a feel for the place, because it's an ex-theatre, so it's got a lovely feeling for it. It's perfect for jazz.
Yeah.
And isn't it going to be part of a series that you're hoping to run?
Yes, I'm hoping to do like bi-monthly or tri-monthly jazz nights. It's called the Velvet Jazz Lounge, and it goes really well with the radio show, which is.
Have you spoken about that yet?
The Velvet. I did mention it before. Yeah, I did.
Right. Yes.
105.7 FM.
105. And that's every Sunday.
Sundays from 2
and it's going to be
from
jazz,
12 till 2.
Jazz.
It's jazz. It's all types of jazz. It's smooth jazz, acid jazz, classic jazz, old jazz, anything with jazz in there, like with jazz funk. All good music.
Yeah. So back to you, Denise. What's your favourite genre of jazz? Would you say?
I like the classics. I like the classics. I like Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald, Nat Cole, Frank Sinatra, the older style of jazz. Although I'm starting to listen to some more soul jazz. Whatever that
soulful jazz.
Yeah, soulful jazz. It's just jazz that people are kind of making a little more funky and danceable. Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah.
Get the body moving.
Get that body moving. Yeah, because at my shows, I'm sorry, people say jazz is dead and jazz is this. That's not true. Jazz is alive and well and living, and people are dancing to it. At my shows, I insist. I tell people, I'm not a painting. This is not a museum. If you come, I want you to come, enjoy yourself, and if you feel the music moves you enough to want to get up and dance. I'm not going to be offended, because I'm going to be on stage dancing too. Trust me.
Bring your dancing shoes.
Bring your exactly. Bring your sparkle and your bling and your dancing shoes, because that's kind of what it's about. Yeah.
It's going to be an absolute fun evening. I think we're getting very close to wrapping up now. So what a wonderful thing. Thank you so much, Denise.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
And all the viewers out there listening, do show up at the Rep Theatre Pub.
Well, it's a venue now.
The Rep venue.
Yes, it's called a venue. Yeah, it's 11 Tower Street, Ipswich Town Centre.
It's going to be fabulous. I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to it. So thanks very much, everyone.
Thank
Until
you.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.